welcome back everybody. It's Nimitator, joined by Switch, and we're bringing you Game 2 of the first round of games between the finalists of the Winter Series 2016, the Syndicate, and Vaalbara. And so yeah, Game 2, like I said, the Syndicate took Game 1, and yeah, we'll see what happens at this point. I think we were discussing this actually not that long ago, but you said, Switch, that perhaps the Vaalbara could have taken that game had Eastwind showed up.
Yeah, they were missing the big E Dubs. Definitely a could have been a contributing factor.
Yeah, and I'm somewhat inclined to agree. I think things might have turned out differently had he been able to show up for his team, but. You sometimes you don't have the luxury of knowing what could have turned out different had things been different. But yeah, let's hop into this. It's the Barons times 2, so it's going to be somewhat small number of units here for each team.
Micro heavy
Yeah,
trades and
I'm
plus
actually
artillery.
I actually kind of like that. I'm very curious to see how this works out. I'm guessing 7 players controlling this number of units. It's not going to be very many. Maybe on average like 4 units per player. It's
Yeah,
it's going to be a similar Venetian trade set. And yeah, what can you tell me about the trades so far? Have you looked at them very much? I mean,
yeah. Well,
four
these
warlocks each.
guys these guys know how to do the trade on an artillery heavy map like this. It's interesting that Paris, who we should point out is stepping in for Rat King, who had to take off. You'll notice he got a couple of warriors, which
Yeah,
Valbera got no warriors.
well, the reason I think is he only took one journeyman, which is kind of unusual. As Vaalbara took two journeymen, which is kind of useful with all the heals. The heals can be very useful. Having only one journeyman, you only have 6 heals compared to the 12 that you would get from 2 journeymen. So yeah, they're gonna have warriors. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult though to make them worth anything here. I think with the heavy artillery presence.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, you can toss them in there to block. They can provide
That's
good
true.
blocking.
That's true. They can be anti-pus patrol. Try to prevent some kind of goal shenanigans from taking out your sensitive units. It's not like they only have one purpose. That's true. But I really do think that having more heals might be beneficial here
And I got to go with you
with
on that
with
one.
with so few units. Let me just really quick introduce the players in this game. For the Syndicate, we have Paris, Adrenaline, Evil Jake, Demolition, Kirk showing up finally for this match. Rar and Akira. So Rar was he? I don't think he was in Game 1, but here he is in Game 2. And Genghis is going to be observing. For Vaalbara, Giant Killer General, captaining with Kruniak, his right-hand man. Osmodian, the ostensible team captain, although he's sort of taken a back seat as of late with the introduction of GKG to the team. Kron, Arsenic, Garrick, and Limp. Garrick with only 1%, interestingly enough. What do you think
Yeah,
of
that's
that?
kind of weird. I wonder what he's doing there.
He's just running around with a Puskull or something? I'm not sure. Looks like some warriors have been spotted here. Fire arrow going down in the mid. It's territories. Or is it territory? What is it? Last man on the hill. Territories was game 1.
Yep, and you got Kron is kind of flanking around with these goals in the north.
Looks like Rar's goal is totally glitching out on that rock there. Can't find his way around that. He's stuck.
It's funny because he was roaring, you could say, to get into this game. I know he's looking forward to some finals.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been eager to be in a finals match for quite some time, I think. Maybe take a win if he can, and he might get a chance here. So even though there's few units, it's still hard to see where the units of Vaalbara are on the map. Here we see Kron trying to loop around. He's getting all the info here on this position of the Syndicate. Ooh, I'm not sure if they got any kills from that. I think that pus was pretty much wasted. There is a big pus there. Kron is going to pick it up. So he's going to get another try.
Yeah, I think the name of the game here is to prevent the surround, right? So they're lining up. They're just gonna keep those flanks.
Ooh,
Gotta keep an eye on the
nice shot.
flanks. Oh, huge pus.
Oh, wow. And the gold dies to fire. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
So the north is where the action is right now. The south is headed to mid. GKG is going to run in. He doesn't have any pus. He's trying to take out Adrenaline. Another pus goes down. It is a dud. So Kron is going to be punished for that. And Kirk is going to pick up the pus, which is actually kind of a huge turnaround here. Though Kirk does lose that archer there to the fire arrow. Arsenic with the fireball shot. It's not going to connect. Akira, a little bit too far out. He doesn't quite know where to be, I think. Osmodian does some damage to Rar. Not quite able to dispense with that goal entirely. Are you still there, Switch?
Oh yeah, I'm hanging in.
Alright, just wanted to make sure. Uh-oh, here's a shot. Adrenaline taking out that archer. Kron does have another pus goal. Here's a pus going down. It gets exploded by Adrenaline.
That was a beautiful block by Adrenaline there, and I think Arsenic just kind of tossed that goal away.
Ooh, huge pus by Kirk. That was quite a lob, but he managed to freeze an archer and take out the mortar dwarf. So I think Syndicate... Oh, nice fire arrow. I think Kirk might lose 2 archers. He fires off his fire arrow before losing his final one.
Oh, nice play by GKG.
Yep, he is going to lose that that gold, though. And actually, Adrenaline's hanging on. I think he's going to lose that Warlock here. Yep.
Oh,
Those
nice.
warriors
Kron
were
with a beautiful pus. Yeah, good work there by Kron.
Yeah, it looked like Syndicate were going to run away with this this north fight, but I think they've been contained somewhat. And actually, Garrick is taking out Akira here. His team needs to come to his rescue. It's looking quite good for Vaalbara, even though the Syndicate, I think, came out on top. I think Vaalbara limited what they lost by there, although the that goal ends up being taken out. Kron is by himself there running interference. He might want to rethink his involvement, his proximity.
Well, this whole game is going on in the north, right?
So far.
Yeah, nothing happening south. These guys are just, there's a picnic down there.
Yeah, there's a couple of units who have been blasted apart, but not very much has happened here. It's been very passive compared to what's gone on in the north. And actually, it's a tie game so far.
Oh yeah, percents are even, yeah.
Ooh, Osmodian cutting it pretty close there.
Kruniak is doing double duty, dueling with Paris and Demolition. That's nice.
He's
He's
got
gonna get
a.
pussed.
He does get pussed. He's gonna run in. He might lose that mortar dwarf. Nope. They managed to hold on to it. Although another mortar dwarf goes down. He manages to take out 2 units. Demo there. Takes out an extra archer as well. Paris is gonna run in. He's going to try to create some space for Demo to take out another archer, and that mortar dwarf gets sniped finally. So Kruniak losing almost all his units, 63-48%. It's actually not very smart of him to be fighting on 2 fronts simultaneously. I'm not sure how he could have gotten out of that though.
Well, that was some great micro by Paris too. Like even you notice he even managed to get the flame arrow.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, Rar has now got the flank going in the south, so he's coming around, going to start putting pressure on
Yeah,
Limp.
and the weird thing is Vaalbara is in a terrible position. They're on the low ground, and this is like the worst spot for them to fight from. Positioning is
Oh
really
man,
quite bad. Although a nice shot gets off, but they lose the Warlock. 59-37%, so they're losing by over 20% at this point.
they needed to pull out of there much faster than they did.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think they saw the danger they were in. So yeah, they have all these heals. They have about 4 heals remaining, but it's quite an uphill battle at this point. They have 2 Warlocks. They're playing against 3.
GKG noting in the chat that they're outnumbered in terms of players. Looks like Garrick dropped.
I'm not sure. That may have had something to do with their losing this game. I'm not sure. Did he have units when he dropped?
What's Akira doing here with his one mortar dwarf? He's getting chased by 2 of Arsenic Warlocks.
Arsenic has 2 Warlocks? Where do you see that?
He's heading back towards the flag right now. I would say he should hand off one to Kron.
Oh, Arsenic? Yeah. I think that would probably be pretty good there. Akira is just playing very passively these couple of games. I don't think he has the confidence to be making plays for his team. But it hasn't really hamstrung the Syndicate at all so far. They've been, they've managed to do quite well despite that. Evil Jake going to be dueling with GKG. He does have a slight health advantage. He does take out that archer. And the big guns are coming in. So yeah, GKG has very little left. They have a couple of... they have no melee either. They just have a couple of... All they have are the 2 journeymen. 2 archers, 2 journeymen, and 2 warlocks all by themselves.
Yeah, you notice...
I think they're going to sacrifice that journeyman. There he goes. And there's the heal. The Mandrake root. Not sure why they did that. I guess they have, what, 1 minute remaining? 30 seconds remaining at this point. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. There's an exchange of warlocks. And Arsenic is going to try to make a beeline here for the flag, but there's nobody else with him.
Kirk is taunting him with his warriors. I think, yeah, Syndicate knows they just need to hang back here.
Oh yeah, they should have no trouble closing this out. Let's look at the percentages real quick. 54-15%. Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, nice snipe there. Last second for Arsenic, saving his ratios a little bit. He does manage to do the little taunt there. Whew. Another win there for Syndicate. They're up 2-0. Not quite sure what happened there for Vaalbara. I think, like you said, Garrick left mid-game. I don't know if he doomed any units in the process or what quite happened as a result. Yes, you do have GKG captaining simultaneously, who's probably better than most at reacting to that and redistributing units. But to what extent did that affect the outcome of this game? I'm not sure.
I want to say the archers for the Syndicate provided a nice foundation, and then they were able to use their heavier artillery to start pushing, and they were just getting, taking down Warlock here, taking down a Mortar Dwarf there, killing a bunch of some brilliant micromanagement with those goals, as we saw. Some great push shots.
I think the extra units in the form of the warriors or whatever, um, I think that may have benefited the syndicate. Not not really so much in terms of materially, like what did they do. They didn't really see a whole lot of action, but in terms of you know being visible, um, it's almost like a like what do you call it when you uh, it's it's like they're
They provided presence. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, but it's almost like it's almost like deceiving. It's almost like they're they're it's almost misdirection. Like you're looking at the Warriors like, oh, got to be careful about those. Meanwhile, there's something else flanking around you that you don't see. So it's almost like you're focusing on the Warriors being like, okay, that's the enemy, and then the really like a Pascal or something sneaks in and that you weren't paying attention to because you were paying attention to the Warriors instead. So I think their presence actually did help the Syndicate here, in that it provided some misdirection that Vaalbara perhaps fell for. They were perhaps looking at the Warriors thinking that's the Warriors are kind of a marker for where the enemy is, and maybe that allowed them to be blindsided by something else. Like I'm thinking specifically of Kruniak, where he was sort of like by himself and he was facing off against, he's right in the middle. He's like in mid. He's on one side. There's the north flank. On the other side, there's the mid flank from the Syndicate that he's looking at, and maybe the Warriors didn't play a huge role here, but he's sort of thinking like, okay, I'm sort of like in the middle of everything. This is a good place to be, and the next second he's lost everything, and his team is like, and the rest of Vaalbara is like, oh, we gotta, we have to somehow salvage this. So they start moving back a little bit, and they find themselves in the weakest position possible on the map, which is in the low ground in the valley, where this between these I guess, is that a river? I'm not really sure. These these low ground valleys. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, I mean, it's a moat. That retreat was disastrous for them.
Yeah,
They
no,
got caught there, and the fires were coming down, and
it
oh,
it couldn't have worked out better for the Syndicate. It was just easy pickings for them at that point, because their units are slow. They don't have anything to run, to distract from. Uh, they didn't really have anything to get in the Syndicate's face to prevent them from focusing on those vulnerable units.
I'm just noticing here, Asmodean has that journeyman. He's still got 3 heals, right? So,
Yeah,
like, I'm looking at the Syndicate as well. You're talking about those warriors. Those warriors paid off great. They're still. I'm amazed they're still alive. They've got
well,
like what, five,
Well, the thing is,
six.
the Warriors didn't see all that much action. Like, I don't think they got too many. I think there's one kill on Rar, and they're probably goal kills. There's probably nothing else. But here's the thing: is you got all those heals, but all right. Here's my this is my initial thoughts of the trade here for Vaalbara. Is every single unit they got was uh, very important. If they lost any unit, you know, those are high value units. The Warriors are not high value. The Warriors are. I don't want to say they're throwaway units, but you can afford, you can afford to lose one or two, and it's not a big deal. You can afford to take some damage. It's not a big deal. Everything else
I agree.
is highly vulnerable, does not have a lot of health. Warlocks, archers, mortar dwarves, and so every bit of damage you take is somewhat devastating in comparison to warrior taking some damage.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Those warriors, they took hits. They're all at they're most of them are at low health, the surviving ones. So that's damage that is just being soaked up by the syndicate, right? As you say. So
yeah,
you look at the numbers, and it's like Vaalbara only has 96 damage overall, and a lot of that is just dumped into those warriors.
right. Perhaps they provided something of a buffer,
I
to
agree.
so I think it did kind of work out for the syndicate this game. I would want to see something. I would want before concluding that warriors are great. In this situation, I would want to see some more games where they're used like this. But I think it worked out in this game. And plus having more units, there's something to be said for having a numbers advantage.
I can't believe, like, we were talking at the beginning, right, about the two journeymen, and we were thinking, yeah, like, that's that you really want to have those extra heals, right? And then to see that Valbera didn't even use all of their heals.
No, I think at the
Yeah,
end they had the one journeyman, and they were healing themselves too. Was the other thing they were running in the journeyman, soaking up warlock shots, running back, healing themselves.
there you
So
go. That's
so it was sort of like you know it didn't really amount to an advantage. Like it didn't have the effect of accomplishing anything.
I'm with you on this one. And then I was thinking too about the like some of the micromanagement that could have been going on. Like we were talking about Arsenic having two warlocks when Kron has no units. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they should have noticed that and been passing him units, right? Like, especially when you're down percentages at the in a crucial game like this.
Well, that said, Arsenic did net that nice shot at the end, but I mean, at that point, it was a lost game either way. But I do want to draw attention to the way that damage is distributed for the Syndicate. It's
Oh yeah,
pretty even. I don't think I've ever seen a more equitable distribution of damage in a game before. Everybody has almost the same, I think the medium, it would be like 17 damage apiece.
they're all within about six or less of each other. That's incredible. And then yeah, look at the difference on Valbera's team. GKG doing pretty much everything. Him and
Yeah,
him and
GK.
Arsenic.
It's almost like GKG is soloing
Yeah, he's playing
versus the
one
the
one.
Syndicate.
That's I like that. That's a good way to put it.
So yeah, let's wrap it up there and move. Anything else you want to mention before we move on?
What is Limp doing? Limp
I
has got to step up,
I
man.
couldn't tell you. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Zero. He had those archers. Zero kills. Come on, man.
Yeah, one survivor. That's a lot. Osmodian too. He just had the journeyman.
Underperforming, I think.
Yeah, not the. I think they could stand to do better, but again, what was the distribution like? Did they have a lot of units? Were they able to do much with what they had? It's hard to know. It's hard to know.
Well, a lot of it's positioning too. The guys they're
True.
fighting, like Limp was facing Rar, and Rar was just taunt. He was just staying way back, not engaging. So what can you do?
Let me see how Akira did. I'm curious. 17 damage. Not too bad. Not too bad. I was wondering about that because Akira was playing really passively.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it's deceptive, right? I mean, everyone in the syndicate pulled their weight.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. All right, well, let's wrap it up there. Let's move into game three. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next game.